Bronie here again for another day in Bronie's world. And can you believe we are in May already? But today I have my beautiful superhero guest, Dr. Wallach, who is a naturopathic doctor. He's a pathologist as well. He's many things. He has many things. He has a book in the Smithsonian of rare, what's it called? No,
It's
diseases of exotic animals.
There you go. Disease of exotic animals. Yeah.
You see, guys, Doc has written so many books, and I don't have all of them yet. My library is growing. And so sometimes I get the titles a little mixed up. I mean, we can't get Hell's Kitchen mixed up. But anyway, today I thought I would ask the doc to share with us because, as you know, nutrition and minerals are Doc's passion. So I wanted him to talk on the power of nutrition in preventing and reversing chronic diseases and the importance of trace minerals and the role that nutrition has in longevity and to share some practical tips for incorporating a nutrition-rich diet into our daily lives. Because, wow, I know just through a few people, new clients I've been talking to just this last week, they think that they are eating properly, but they're just not getting the nutrients they need, because if they were, they wouldn't be having the severe health issues they're having, which one or two I might touch on later after Doc shared with us this beautiful, powerful message. So, Doc, it's all over to you.
Okay. Thank you for your hospitality. And thank you for your beautiful presence. We appreciate everything you do for humanity. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. The pleasure's all mine.
Okay. Well, just something, we have a new book coming out in about a month. And it's going to cover just exactly what you're talking about. So it's going to be very, very, you're going to look at it and say, oh my gosh, this is what we've been looking for. Okay.
Another book I've got to add to my library.
I'm sorry?
Another book I'm going to have to add to my library.
Yeah, it'll make my 25th book. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we're very excited about that. And it's going to be about the same measurements as it's all in your head. Okay. It's all in your head. This covers the 12 pairs of cranial nerves and the spinal cord and the brain and so forth. And this one coming out, let's see here. It's called the Metabolic Syndrome. You've heard about the Metabolic Syndrome?
Yes.
No? Yes. Okay.
Yes and no, only because you've mentioned it.
Okay. Well, the Metabolic Syndrome covers exactly what you're talking about. It's kind of an umbrella of diseases that are caused by nutritional deficiency. And it was first, which I say, constructed by medical doctors in 1945. In 1945, we have all these diseases. They didn't know what caused it. And they just said, well, there's this genetic thing called the metabolic syndrome. They came up with that name in 1945. So it's still used today. And the basic core at that time was abdominal obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, liver disease, kidney disease, and osteoporosis and arthritis. The main thing was obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure. If you had those three things, you had the metabolic syndrome. Then you were spiraling downwards, okay? Because those are the biggies. Now remember, that's 1945. Well, today they still have the category, the metabolic syndrome. In Japan, one of the highest rates, 40% of their population has the metabolic syndrome.
Wow.
Okay. And of course, it peaks at age 50 in Japan. In the United States, USA, this is all recent information. Okay. We have 37% fit into that category, the metabolic syndrome, and 25% are single males.
Wow. What does that tell you?
So,
They
so
should
yeah,
get married.
you get all these clues, right? Okay. And then the metabolic syndrome, we've been working on this for quite some time, and it's not difficult. And you know, you've been with us a long time, so these things will sound familiar to you. And the whole basis of the metabolic syndrome is that doctors would say, when people say, should I be taking some vitamins or minerals? Well, you can take some vitamin C, you can take, you know, during the wintertime, take some vitamin D, but, you know, just eat well, you get everything you need. Any doctor who says that should have their licenses taken away. Okay,
I
because,
agree.
yeah, plants only need 3 minerals. Human beings and other mammals, you know, like cows and horses and sheep and pigs and goats and dogs and cats, so forth, rabbits and rats and bunnies, all need 90 essential nutrients.
Mm.
Plants only need 3 minerals. All our mammal vertebrates, including humans, require 60 minerals, 60 versus 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you've heard of gold mines, right?
Yes.
Now, do gold mines appear universally all over the world?
Absolutely not.
What about silver? You've heard of
No.
silver mines. They occur universally all over the world. Every square foot is a silver mine.
No. Imagine
Of
how
course
rich
not.
we would all be if they did.
Yeah, people people can spend their lives looking for the veins of gold and silver, and then some never find it.
Yes,
Some
that's
get
true.
lucky and they stumble on it, right?
Mm.
Okay, so the same thing is true for what we need. It does not occur uniformly. Now it did. I repeat that it did 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. It did
Mm.
because back then, even up to 1900, okay, everybody all over the world, all humans, were using wood and coal as fuel. You know,
Yeah.
fireplaces, potbelly stoves, kitchen stoves, all that kind of stuff, fireplaces. Um, and they would take the wood ashes and coal ashes and put them in the gardens as fertilizer. And they knew that there was minerals in the wood ashes and coal ashes. Okay. And
Well,
so
even if they didn't, they
they
were
wouldn't
still
grow.
they were still helping themselves.
And so we were, you know, back then we were getting some minerals. Okay, because we were using wood ashes, coal ashes, fertilizer. We were also using wood ashes, coal ashes as a uh, what you put on your food,
Like a
like salt
spice.
and pepper, yeah, like a spice. Yeah, it was like a spice, and that went on until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882. In
Yes.
1882, they pulled the switch on electricity for the first time. Electricity was on, and by 1900, just about everybody in America was using electricity. Nobody was using wood and coal anymore for light and fuel and heat and all that kind of stuff. It was messy, and you know, wood ashes had coal dust everywhere,
Yeah,
and
and had
people
to
didn't
go and
like
chop
that.
the
So
wood.
they liked they liked electricity because it was cleaner, right?
Mm.
Well, it didn't take long after a couple of years of electricity between 1820 and 1900. By 1900, there was hundreds of new diseases nobody had ever seen before. And
Mm.
suddenly now, doctors who had made their livings by going from village to village to village and talking about herbs and giving people herbs if they had a problem, okay, um, they
Yes.
now converted these little clinics into massive hospitals, okay? And
Mm.
all these doctors are getting paid thousands of dollars a day to draw blood tests, so you see what disease you have, and they would give you all these what should I say, all these drugs to relieve symptoms. They never got rid of the problem. They would treat you for 5 years, 20 years, 30 years until you died, treating the symptoms because disease just gradually got worse and worse and worse. You might have 5 diseases. They're giving you symptomatic treatment for, but they never cured any diseases.
No. No. Which is, what's the
They
point?
just milked they milked your economy like a dairy cow. Okay, because now they had the hospitals, okay, which they didn't have until after 1820.
Mm.
You know, if they were going to amputate your leg, they did it in your living room back in those days.
Oh yeah, or out on the field. Or during the
Yeah,
war, they did it out on the field.
they give you a couple of shots of whiskey and cut your leg off, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, they did.
And so most people back in those days, they would get canes, you know, use a cane or a walker or something like that, because they didn't want to get their leg cut off, because many people would die during the procedure. They get an infection and die 2 weeks later, all that kind of stuff. And so electricity changed everything, primarily for the lifestyle of doctors. Because the lifestyle of doctors just went crazy. They became, everybody wanted to be a doctor now because everybody knew the doctors were rich.
Yeah.
Okay? So now let's look a little bit deeper. What's going on now? Well, now the metabolic syndrome is still around, and the basic core is let's see here. The basic core is they have abdominal obesity, you know, big bellies, okay? They have type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. Now, they also have access to 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 other diseases, but it's highly variable. But abdominal obesity, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure, okay, is what they were calling the metabolic syndrome. And so now they had to add the liver stuff, the lung stuff. They had to throw in things that went on, you know, like arthritis and osteoporosis, because it affected your immune system and your white blood cells, because your bone marrow was dead and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And doctors are hauling it in. Banks love it when there's a new clinic in town, because
Yes.
this means that there's going to be cash flow into those banks. Okay. And then, of course, there's thyroid issues and so forth, and lung issues, asthma, and so forth. All these things fall into this category of the metabolic syndrome. But the core you must have to be called metabolic syndrome. Okay, you must have abdominal obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure. And then, of course, there's half a dozen other possibilities. You can have 2 of those, or 5 of those, or 10 of those. Okay, added on. Okay.
And the diabetes wouldn't matter whether it was type 1 or 2, would it?
Well, type 1 is a birth defect. Babies are born with type 1. Okay, because mama was missing nutrition in the early stages of pregnancy when the pancreas was being formed. Okay, and the beta cells were being formed in the pancreas to make insulin. When the baby's born, what's the first blood test that doctors want to do when a baby's born? Umbilical blood. Yeah. Yeah. Why? Because they want to see if they have type 1 diabetes, which is a birth defect. Because then they can send their kids to college if the kid has type 1 diabetes.
I am still hearing daily of doctors diagnosing people in their 30s and 40s with type 1 diabetes.
Yeah, they should have their licenses suspended or taken away.
And they're going, no. I mean, I have these people say to me, oh, no, the specialist said they did these tests. I've had it for a while. And I said, have you had it since birth? Oh, no, it's only just recent.
Just for the last 2 weeks.
You can't convince them. No, the markers all say I have type 1. And I'm going, okay. Sorry, Doc, I didn't mean to disrupt you there. But
No. Thank you for what should I say, for expanding, you know, on something that is actually happening. Doctors say, oh, don't worry about that stuff. Just eat well, you get everything you need. It's absolutely impossible, because again, nutritional minerals occur like gold and silver. Okay, you can have an identical twin who dies at 20 from a heart attack. The other twin lives 2 states away, and they live 40 years longer because of what's in the soil.
So it's because it's different soil, different nutrients.
You got it. You got it. You get an 8 triple plus. Okay.
And we are here to educate the world why supplements are important, because you're lacking.
Well, yeah, you're exactly right. They're important. They're absolutely essential to maximizing your health and longevity for you, your family, your kids to come, and so forth. You need the 90 essential nutrients, and that's why we call our program the Mighty 90, the 90 essential nutrients. And doctors
the
just
90 for life that you have on your cap.
Exactly. And
I need one of those caps.
Doctors have no earthly idea what we're talking about, because the only thing they can remember is vitamin C and vitamin A and maybe some B vitamins and calcium and
magnesium. I actually still come across people. I actually come across a lot of people who will only the doctors will just say, "Oh, you just need magnesium," and to try and get them to realize that you can't have it on its own. I was actually talking with someone yesterday, and no, if you don't, doc, the formulas you have created with our supplements are the cofactors. And I said, what's cofactors? I said, the things that you have to have to go with that particular one. You've brought those together and blended them really well. And that's what makes our supplements different.
Exactly. You have to, just like a car. If you just wash your car every day and don't check the oil, don't check the antifreeze or the coolant, don't check your gasoline levels, and you're not paying attention to all of the gauges on the dashboard, you're not brake fluid, all that kind of stuff. That's why they have all those gauges on the car.
Yeah.
And you don't do that for us. Well, I saw my doctor 6 months ago, and he said everything was okay. So I don't know why, I can't walk anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Or why I can't breathe, or why I'm putting on weight out of control.
And so this is
or losing weight. Losing weight out of control is just as dangerous as gaining weight too quickly.
Well, yeah.
Constantly.
And of course, there's all these diseases. Gosh, there's over 600 different diseases that human beings in modern times have to deal with. 600 different diseases. I mean, we're talking about Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, frontal temporal dementia, we're talking about Bell's palsy, and we're talking about osteoporosis, arthritis, okay, heart disease. Let's see here.
Diabetes and
multiple sclerosis, asthma, kidney problems, and let's see here, just to kind of show you why doctors are interested in this. We spend each year in America alone, just to treat the symptoms, not to prevent or cure it, arthritis, $626.8 billion a year, just to treat the symptoms in America. Type 2 diabetes, $342 billion a year, just to treat the symptoms, not to prevent or cure it. Heart disease, $316.8 billion, just to treat the symptoms, not to prevent or cure it. Obesity, $260 billion, just to treat the symptoms, not to prevent it or cure it. Okay. High blood pressure, $131 billion, just to treat the symptoms, not to prevent it or cure it. And so I could go on, but you get the drift. And as a result, when it comes to where we rank in the top 100 countries in the world, when it comes to longevity, health and longevity, we rank 47th. America ranks 47th. Now,
and Australia, I think Australia's a little bit higher than that. I think Australia's doing a little bit better in that statistic than America.
Well, when it comes to when you're looking at the standard land masses, okay?
Yeah.
Australia, okay, that's pretty good. Let's see here. Hong Kong ranks number 1. Their life expectancy is 85.83. Number 2 is Macau. Their life expectancy is 85.56. Japan, number 3, is their life expectancy is 84.95. Switzerland, number 4, they're not Asian, but their life expectancy is 84.38. And that's because they live in the mountains with all that, okay, with all the
glacial milk and things, yeah.
the glacial stuff going on, grinding up all the rocks and so forth. Let's see here. Let's go to the United States. United States, America, we rank 47th. Longevity. Now, the country that lives the longest wasn't in this report, okay? And we're talking about the country up in the Himalayan mountains, the Hunzas. Their life expectancy is 120. They don't have a single medical doctor. They don't have any hospitals. They don't have any health insurance. They don't have any of that stuff. But they do have glacial milk. They have the ground up glaciers grinding up the rocks up in the mountains. They're coming down in the streams. They're drinking the water, cooking with the water, watering their fields and their gardens with it, with all those minerals in it. That's why they live to be 120.
Yeah. It's interesting that they haven't put them in the statistics. So I'm guessing the statistics are just industrial nations.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that would throw them out if
farmers.
they have the houses.
Yeah, they're all farmers and they want to stay farmers.
Yeah. Farmers are, you know, lifeblood.
There's another one I'm looking for here real quick. One of the common diseases of the brain and spinal cord is Parkinson's disease. Okay, when it comes to diseases of brain and spinal cord, Parkinson's disease is number 2 when it comes to numbers. Gosh, for 50 years, the rate was something like 60,000 new cases a year in America. 60,000 new cases a year in America of Parkinson's disease. Well, this year, it went up 50%. It went up to 90,000 new cases.
Wow. And I'm hearing here in Australia, I'm hearing new people almost every day being diagnosed with Parkinson's.
So Parkinson's numbers are going up.
I bet they certainly are. And I'm going, oh my goodness.
Okay, now, here's my favorite story about Parkinson's disease. Okay, there's a lady, we're not going to tell you her last name because everybody in the world will be in her front door if I tell you her last name. Okay. I will tell you, she's an American. Okay. Let me get my light out here. Okay. I could use the other light. Let me try the other light. No, I'm not going to do two lights. Let's go to the heavy duty light. Okay. There we go. Now I got some light. Yeah, this gal, her name is Madeline. Her first name is Madeline. Her last name begins with an O, so we'll just call her Madeline O. And she'd been going to medical doctors in her state and town for 12, 15 years. Okay, and diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 12, 15 years ago. Okay, and she was going to her doctors once, twice, 3 times a year. Okay, and just last year, she was cured, didn't have Parkinson's anymore. That's because I think it was her brother told her about our program for Parkinson's disease. We got her on the I-26. We made the I-26 for Parkinson's disease. Okay, it rebuilds white matter, the myelin of the brain and spinal cord, which goes away when you have Parkinson's disease. Okay, and so she was taking that 2, 3 times a day. Okay, and she, what should I say, in 2.5 months, she went from being really in trouble, and the doctor saying, well, you may only have months or maybe a year to live. This is, not really good. You're down really low. So anything can happen here. And then she came back in 3 months later, and the doctor said, oh, this didn't seem right. Nothing wrong here on all the tests. So let's have you come back in tomorrow and redo it. She said, I don't know why, but you don't have Parkinson's disease anymore. Well, that's because she was using our program. Okay. And let's see here.
And getting off all the bad foods, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Eating all the bad foods, not taking any vitamins and minerals, no I-26. At any rate, Alzheimer's disease, in America, we spend $345 billion a year treating the symptoms. Okay. Let's see. FTD, frontal temporal dementia, we spend $7.28 billion a year just to treat the symptom, not prevent or cure it. MS, multiple sclerosis, $85 billion just to treat the symptom, not prevent or cure it. Parkinson's disease, $52 billion a year. ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Let's see, Lou Gehrig's disease, we spend $1.02 billion a year. And the cost to treat the symptoms of all these various problems with the myelin, the white matter of the brain, each year in America alone is $490.3 billion a year.
Wow.
Okay. Well, at any rate, so she was on her program 2 months cured. Now that was a couple of years ago now. And on the right-hand page of this flip chart, page 27, flip chart's title is 90 for Life Crusade to Save Humanity in the World. The right-hand side is her telling her story. And of course, the salient points are in yellow, have a yellow background. And the doctor's letters are on the left-hand side of the page. And we don't know why, but she didn't have it anymore, blah, blah, blah. They had no earthly idea that she was using our program. Okay. And so it's one of those things that if you give the body what it needs, you look back in the biblical days, people were living to be 200, 300. People were living to be 900. If you believe the Bible, then that's what was in the Bible. Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
And so it's one of those things where they were using wood and coal for fuel. They were putting the wood ashes and coal ashes in their food and their gardens. And they were getting their minerals that way. Now, everybody all over the world didn't live that long, but there were places. Okay.
Yeah.
And what were those places called where people lived a long time?
Well, the land
back
of
in the Bible days. Huh?
They lived in the land of milk and honey.
The land of milk and honey. You got it. You get an A+. They came from the land flowing with milk and honey.
That's exactly right.
Flowing with milk, the milk was the water coming down the mountains, looked white like milk because it had the ground up rock dust in it.
Mm.
So when they're talking about the land flowing with milk and honey, they weren't talking about cow's milk. They're talking about they're talking about.
Yeah, you don't actually really hear them talking about cows, and especially in the Old Testament, do you?
Hmm?
You don't really hear them talking about cows that much in the Old Testament, do you? When you think about it. So
No, it's not cow's milk. It's glacial milk. Okay? And it's glacial milk because it's the water coming down the mountainside, getting the ground up lava in it, getting all those minerals. And when people would irrigate their gardens, use it for cooking, use it for drinking, they're getting all these minerals in that glacial milk. It wasn't cow's milk. It was the glacial water that had the minerals in it, and it looked like milk. So that's why they're saying the land that's flowing with milk and honey.
That's right. See,
They didn't have the scientific accumulation of information back then, but they knew that, look, there's all this liquid milk's coming down the mountain, white, okay, and you could drink it, wouldn't hurt you, it's good for you. And people who drank it lived a long time. They put that together, a couple thousand years ago. People drinking with that stuff and cooking with that stuff and irrigating with that stuff, the land flowing with milk and honey, they're the ones who live so long.
Absolutely. See, so it's just, you don't have to be a scientist to figure these things out.
Yeah. So we've spent a lot of time and energy figuring all this stuff out. And it's one of our popular books now is the flip chart, 75 pages, had a lot of famous people in here who have gotten rid of their health problems. Okay. About, I don't know, 12, 15 of them. Very famous movie actors and singers and athletes, scientists, physicians, reporters, all kinds of very famous people, government people, senators and presidents whom we've saved their lives and got rid of their terrible diseases.
Mm.
And so they allowed us to get their picture, put it in along with their story in this flip chart. And so, you can't, what should I say, you can't deny the stories when you're talking about people who they know. They don't know them personally, but they know of them and they believe in them. Okay. They believe in them. Let me just run down a few here.
So with I'm just going back a bit with the Parkinson's. So you gave her the I-26, but that wasn't all you gave her, was it?
She got the 90. Got the 90. So she had 60 minerals and 16 vitamins and 12 omega 3 fatty acids plus the she got the I-26. And so because she had need of it because her brain was going away because of the myelin disappearing. Okay,
Yeah.
Danny.
I would have probably, if I were bright, if it was, I would suggest the brain and heart pack.
Yeah.
With the I-26.
That's right. That's where you get the 90. The I-26 and Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. You're in good shape. Okay. So
Yeah.
Danny Glover. Okay, he was born. Okay, he was born with epilepsy, and he got with us, and in just a few months, he didn't have epilepsy anymore, and he was an adult by then. He was really in bad trouble with epilepsy.
Mm.
Okay,
I'm still amazed at the number of people who live with epilepsy and, are so convinced there's absolutely nothing anyone can do. And and they're having 26 seizures a day and they think that's okay. And I think you can't live like that.
yep. No, we can get rid of the seizures very quickly.
Mm.
Okay, that's our
But they love
I-26.
their specialists who, oh, well, they're keeping me alive. Well, but are you living?
Here you go. Okay,
There's a
Pastor
difference between
Creflo
being kept alive and living, isn't there,
Dollar. Pastor Creflo Dollar, very famous pastor, his little girl suffered from severe asthma and was really, really in terrible shape and was being hospitalized. And we put on our program, and just in a few weeks, she's perfectly normal. Okay. Then we have Mike Glenn, the Stinger, great basketball player. And he had terrible problems with his knees and his hips and his ankles and shoulders. All his cartilage in his body was going away. We came up with the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack. Okay.
Mm.
And very quickly rebuilt him. And he was telling another one of our basketball players, which we'll get to in a minute, Theo Ratliff, who was really in trouble. And he told Theo Ratliff about us, and Theo Ratliff's got on our program. We'll talk about Theo in a minute. And then there's Andy Young, former ambassador to the United Nations, pastor, mayor of Atlanta. He and I went around for so many Black churches. Okay. He introduced me to the Black community.
Mm.
And as pastor and ambassador and mayor, he paved the way with his integrity and the integrity of Dr. Wallach's research, lectures, and nutrition to help the Black community understand that they had to take vitamins and minerals because they weren't getting wood ashes and coal ashes anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it matters not the color of your skin. You still need the 90 essential nutrients.
There you go. Then
The color of our skin doesn't determine what's going on inside.
That's correct.
Because we all bleed the same way.
Yeah. It's just like when you have horses. There's brown horses and white horses and gray horses and spotted horses, but they're all the same on the inside.
Exactly right.
Okay, so Jonathan Emord, our great attorney, he helped me sue the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, 8 times in federal court. We won every time. That was to get vitamins and minerals put into the baby formulas, because all these babies were being born with terrible birth defects and so forth, and had all kinds of problems. And so we got that
Or
done.
dying of SIDS.
Cystic fibrosis. Okay,
No, but
we got
dying of SIDS as well. You know,
SIDS. SIDS. Oh, that came, yeah. Also, as soon as we putting, SIDS, sudden death syndrome, the doctors wrote it up. We go back and look, say, 50, 60, 75 years ago. What did they think SIDS was? Sudden death syndrome. What did they think caused it? They thought the mothers were laying on the babies and suffocating them. Now, how could that be? The babies are in the crib and the mother's in the bed. How did that happen?
exactly right.
So as soon as we got as soon as we got all those vitamins and minerals into the baby formulas, sudden death syndrome, SIDS, disappeared. Dystrophy disappeared. And of course, we gave Jerry Lewis and Jerry's kids, we gave Jerry Lewis the formula. Okay, we knew how to prevent and cure muscular dystrophy. He was so excited, and he told the Muscular Dystrophy Association. They fired him, put a gag order on him so he couldn't tell the world that we had found the cause, prevention, cure. Put a gag order on him so he couldn't tell the world we had found the cause, prevention, cure of muscular dystrophy. And then the next day, they shut off his telethon, which he had been running for 46 years and raised $2.3 billion for them. They shut it all down because they didn't want the world to know that we had found the cause, prevention, cure of muscular dystrophy. And then, of course, the SIDS thing came on about a month later. So I'm the guy that figured out what caused, how to prevent and cure.
Lots of things. SIDS, muscular dystrophy.
Sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, and SIDS, sudden death syndrome. Yeah. And now we're working on what? Oh, now we're working on the metabolic syndrome.
Yeah.
We know the cause, prevention, cure of it, and it's going into another book. It's going to be about the size of the book that's all in your head. So there'll be a set.
An easy book to be able to carry around.
Yeah. And you'll be able to read one and then the other. If you already have, it's all in your head, you can just buy the book, the Metabolic Syndrome, and you'll get a discount. If you buy them both at the same time, you get a discount. You buy 10 of each one of them, you buy a discount, because we know how to get rid of these diseases. We know how to prevent and cure them. And then one of my favorite pictures in this flip chart, 75 pages, is on page 55. It's a picture of Theo Ratliff and me standing in front of a big event facility. We're going to an event to kind of talk about basketball. And he's 7'4" and I'm 5'4". I come up to his armpits. Now, we purposely had a picture taken showing our shoes. So we're both in flip, whatever you call them, little sandals, where the soles and the heels are like half-inch thick for him and me.
Okay? All right.
It's not like he's wearing high heel shoes and I'm wearing flats. No. We're both wearing flats. And I come up to his armpit, and he didn't want to get surgery and everything, so he quit basketball. But once we rebuilt him, he came back, I don't know, 3-4 months, got his position back. He played for 9 more years, made $100 million in contracts.
Awesome.
Okay, since we rebuilt him with our Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, and also the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, and the CM Cream for pain relief. This guy here, he did a lot of great stuff for us.
And the rebound.
Oh yeah, rebound. That's absolutely.
Forget that gorgeous energy drink.
Yep, that's us. And then Pat Boone, very famous singer. Okay. He had terrible arthritis in all his joints. He had one of his knees replaced and it was just awful. He didn't want to do that again. And so we got him on the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack that we had made for Theo Ratliff. All his arthritis went away. And he says, now Now I'm telling you about my experience with Dr. Joel Wallach and longevity. It's different and very impressive. It's very clear to me that if I hadn't been taking the longevity nutrients for over a year, even though I'm not as constantly as faithful as I intend, I would have had my knees replaced months ago and probably wouldn't even have made it. I don't even think about a cane anymore as I had been using. Had a great picture of him smiling there. And then another one, Evander Holyfield, great heavyweight champion. He lost his heavyweight championship because he couldn't respond to the final bell in the 12th round. He had a heart attack in the break before the 12th round. So they had to give the fight to the guy who was trying to beat him up, but he couldn't answer the bells, is why he lost his championship. So we came up with a healthy brain and heart pack for him. We came up with a healthy brain and heart pack for Evander Holyfield. 3 months later, he passes his physical. He gets back to fight this guy who had taken his championship away. He had to stop the fight in the 6th round because Evander Holyfield was killing this guy. The guy's arms are down to the side, and he had just punched him like a punching bag, and it wasn't going to go good for this guy. So they stopped the fight and gave Evander Holyfield the victory.
His title back.
Yeah, exactly. Now, just to show that it's not just guys that have a problem. Okay, we have so many women athletes. Okay, in every sport you can think of, women athletes and entertainers and singers and actresses and so forth. Kelly Heron, All-American woman basketball star, All-American, University of Tennessee. 2 years into her career, she started experiencing trouble with her shooting arm. Now, we didn't know her and she didn't know us. We were giving a lecture in Memphis, Tennessee, and we were on TV, on the radio, and she caught one of those shows. So she showed up at our event and she listened to me and heard the Theo Ratliff story. And she wanted us to give her a program like Theo Ratliff, which we did. And in just 3 months' time, she got her shooting arm back, and she played for another total of 2 more years, for a total of 4 years at All-American, University of Tennessee. And then she played for 5 years in women's professional basketball. Okay.
Wow.
And so
That's pretty
there's a
good.
picture. Yeah, there's a picture of she and I standing together, and I come up to her shoulder. It's a great picture. And we're at a booth at an event, helping enroll people into longevity. You see all the longevity products on the tables behind us. Okay. And of course, the sign in the booth is Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And of course, the book Dead Doctors Don't Lie was a bestseller, of course. And the CD, we sold over 20 million copies. We sold over 20 million copies of that CD.
Wow, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what financed the beginning of longevity. There was a sale of that CD. Okay, but it's a great picture of me standing next to her. Okay, and then 2 more. One is Dr. Pastor Michael Freeman. He and I are sitting on lounge chairs facing each other talking. And he had experienced an attack from Satan and was unconscious for 5 weeks, plugged into an ECMO machine, which is kind of like it helps you breathe and pumps your blood and everything. And of course, he had 2.5 months, and so he was really in trouble. And the doctor said, "Look, we're going to pull everything here. He's not going to make it. There's no sense to run the bill up. Let's just quietly let him go to sleep and pass." But while he's asleep, let's just let him pass. So Linda Tyler, one of our great distributors, who is a member of Pastor Mike's church, she calls me, says, "Remember, this is a again a basketball player woman. But it only shows our faces. It shows Pastor Mike and I sitting across from each other. And at any rate, and so she calls me and says, "Is there anything we can do for him? They're pulling him off all this stuff, and they only give him hours or days to live." So, does he have an eye tube? No. Does he have? Does he have a G tube? No. Okay. I want you to get a couple of bottles of our minerals or liquid minerals. She said, "I got 3 quarts of those in my car." Okay, get them. Rub a half a teacup on his chest, on his upper belly and lower belly 3 times a day. I want you also at the same time rub a half a teacup between his shoulder blades, his upper back and lower back 3 times a day. Then call me in a week or 10 days. Let me know how he's doing. So she calls me the very next day. She says, "Doc, you're not going to believe this. Pastor Mike woke up and he's giving a sermon in the church."
That's brilliant, right?
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? And so that story is all in here with our pictures and everything. And then the last one I want to go into, another full page, is with Rebecca Dukes. Okay, she's been with us for about 8 years now. She came to us. She was 120 pounds overweight. She's 120 pounds overweight. Okay, and 45 years old. And she tried everything and nothing worked. So we got her, on the healthy brain and heart pack. We got her on the rebound, all that kind of stuff. And to make a long story short, in 6 months' time, she'd lost 100 pounds. She's got the before and after picture. Holy moly. And now she's actually one of the actual people who are running the services for the
Institute of Holistic Health.
There you go, Institute of Holistic Health, the IWH.
Of which I'm a certified holistic health coach through them.
Yeah, and so she is the director of student services. Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is a great, great, great gal, and just like yourself, she's putting a lot of energy into making sure the kids coming along know what to do for themselves and their family, their neighbors, their workmates, and so on, their community. And by doing that, she has built a wonderful business. And of course, we have another book coming out here pretty quick. And this new book, she's one of the co-authors on the book. Okay, because she personally experienced all this stuff. Okay. Yeah. And so it's one of those things we're very, very excited here that we're going to get the things done that need to get done. And we cannot thank you enough, you and your team. Okay. And
we still have lots more to do. So I'm looking for more people to join my team because I can't do it all on my own.
No, you can't do it alone. I couldn't do it alone. That's why I decided to do this, okay, as a business and a training session. That's why we have the training school for all these people who are members. They got to be members and have a longevity business and be a member and have the chart and be one of our healers. Okay.
Yeah.
And so are you a member of that?
Yes, I am.
Well, there you go.
Am.
What?
I definitely am.
Well, good.
Yes, I'm a longevity distributor and a certified holistic health coach.
Health coach. There you go.
Yeah.
So we can't thank you enough.
Well, I actually call myself an international certified holistic health coach because I'm in Australia, and I know there are. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can become a certified holistic health coach through the Institute of Holistic Health.
Oh, yeah.
And build your business globally. So why not? I say.
Yeah, because you get, and it's good for you and your community and your family. And, to be honest, you get a lot of tax breaks when you do all these things. And it's part of your business. You get tax breaks, which is very helpful in these days and times.
Yes.
And so.
Especially when you get taxed for every little thing you do.
Exactly. And so how many people do you think you have in your personal organization? Do you have
how
three?
many people I actually have personally, and how many people
health coaches?
How many health coaches? Health coaches I only have about a handful, about 6, but I have other people in my team. Yeah, so probably about 6 health coaches in my team. I need heaps more.
But some of them have people in their team, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, there
Not
you
as
go.
many as we would like. So, but personally, um, I don't have as many as I would like personally. But anyone that's under them, I help them as well.
Okay,
It's
well, we only
growing.
got,
It's growing. It's getting there. One new health coach at a time.
yep. We only have 4 or 5 minutes left. So is there any particular question we missed that you'd like to have answered or want to
Well,
deal with?
so I would, sort of, well, practical tips would be obviously getting off all the bad foods, and even some of the foods on the good food list, you may have a reaction to them. So you've got to
Pay
check those
attention.
out as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I wanted to ask you one thing that I came across. Well, I've come across it before, but I particularly got asked about it yesterday. Is someone who has low blood sugars, and I cannot convince them they shouldn't be eating all this refined sugar. They shouldn't be having that, and they have been told that they have to have all this sugar, or they will go into a coma. And that's the kind of doesn't ring true to me. I'm trying to say that
Okay, so when somebody has hypoglycemia, low
it's a
blood sugar,
nutrition deficiency.
hypoglycemia,
It's not.
yeah,
Yeah.
So what they need to do is take the 90 essential nutrients, take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, okay, take the sweeties. The sweeties can give her or him the minerals necessary to manage blood sugar, okay, and of course they have to eat good meals. By good meals, we're talking about, well, there's protein, there's carbohydrates, there's good lipids, fats. Okay, got to stay away from all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, butter, and oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. That one's got to go. And if you want energy, we have the, excuse me, for energy, we got the Rebound. And then also we have the I-26 for the brain and spinal cord. That helps a lot because the brain and spinal cord tells your body what to do about your blood sugar.
Absolutely. So I-26 is good for everyone, regardless of your condition.
You like what?
I said the I-26 is good for everyone, regardless of your condition.
Because you want to take I-26 before you get a problem.
Exactly right. Because we're about not just helping people fix, or reverse a chronic disease. We're about preventing it.
Yes. Now,
prevention's better than the cure.
Yeah, exactly. Do we prevent?
Cheaper too.
Do we prevent damage to our car? Yeah, we put oil in the car, we put grease in the car, we put antifreeze in the car. We have stuff for the windshield wipers to wash the windows. We have all this stuff, and we have gauges, okay, which you can look at and tell what's going on without having to get out of your car and dipstick and all this kind of stuff for brake fluid. We have all those gauges, okay, and in humanity, oh, we get a little rashness, can we run to the doctor? Okay, well, that's because they have no earthly idea what's going on. What's the possibilities? And how do you check the possibilities? Well, this is why we came out with these books, okay? And of course, again, Hell's Kitchen, that book was written to show the difference between 1882 and 1900 and 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, when we're getting all the wood ashes, coal ashes to get our minerals, okay, into our food and our fertilizer and our gardens and everything. And once we went to electricity, it changed the world forever. Suddenly now, doctors turned their little clinics into factories.
Yeah.
You come into factories for rehab, surgery, tests, all those kind of things. And
pharmaceutical drugs
years ago, a couple hundred years ago, people, their big test was putting a thermometer in your mouth. Okay, it was a big test. Okay, but once we,
as a nurse, I remember doing that.
Once you went to electricity, suddenly now all the problems jumped on us because we didn't have the wood ashes and coal ashes anymore to put in our gardens and put in our food. And that was our sources of nutritional minerals. People didn't know that. Doctors didn't know that. Scientists didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But we that's what we're here for, to change people's thinking, to get them thinking back to natural methods.
Educate them, bring them back online.
That's right.
So they're getting one way or another, getting what they need. And once they're educated, it's a whole new world.
Oh, absolutely. It changes your life in more ways than one. So yes, and the power of the mind too, it's changing people's thinking is a big thing. And once the light bulb is switched on, they suddenly realize, that makes perfect sense. Because that's what God gave us. He didn't give us all this other stuff. He gave us these things that are natural. And, we can't get them out of our soil. So we have to.
The Garden of Eden.
Yes. Let's all go back there. We can do that with our 90 essential nutrients. We can feel like we're back in the Garden
Save me a
of Eden.
place. I'll meet you there.
Okay. That sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Doc, for another amazing day and learning and teaching. And I look forward to that new book coming out.
Yeah, it'll be out by the end of this month.
Metabolic Syndrome. Did I say that correctly?
Metabolic Syndrome.
It's dyslexic tongues having trouble getting around it.
That term was coined in 1945 by a handful of doctors who didn't know what they were doing. And they called it metabolic syndrome.
Yeah. And if you look after metabolism, you're doing great. All right, Doc. Well, thank you very much. And as I say here in Bronie's world, I ask everyone to stay safe, stay informed, be empowered, but do not live in fear, my friends. And when you are doing prevention, which is cheaper and better than the cure, then you too will be powerful, beautiful, brilliant, and most definitely very brave. God bless you all. Catch you again tomorrow here in Bronie's world. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate everything you do for me and for the world.
Well, God bless you and all the great things you do. You're a great, great, great daughter and sister of humanity, and we cannot thank you enough for all you do. You're definitely part of the family.
Thank you. I consider you part of the family as well. God bless you, Doc. Catch you later. Bye.